This week is Parshas Nitzavim Vayelech. It's Shabbos before Rosh Hashana, and the Baal Shem Tov teaches us that on this Shabbos, the Eibishter blesses. We don't bless the month of Tishrei for various reasons. The reason, according to Chassidus, is because the Eibishter blesses the month, and with this blessing of the Eibishter, we have the power to bless the other 11 months of the year. What is the bracha of the Eibishter? The Eibishter's bracha is Atem Nitzavim Hayom. You're standing today. Today goes on the day of Rosh Hashana, which is called the day of judgment, the day of creation. And the Eibishter says that you're standing, you're going to withstand, you're going to overcome, you're going to stand strong, and you'll be victorious in judgment. So we also have in Rashi and the Medrash bring down on the pasuk of Atem Nitzavim that there's a number of interpretations what it means that you're standing today, you're all standing today in front of the Eibishter. One of the explanations is that last week we learned the whole Teichecha, all the things that appear to be the opposite of blessings, and there's 98 of them, and the Yidden's face changed colors, their faces turned green as the expression goes. And Moshe Rabbeinu tells them, don't worry, look, Atem Nitzavim Hayom, don't get too scared. You see, you're still standing, you're still surviving, despite everything you did, and all the suffering, all the punishments that you should have gotten, or even those that you did get. You're still standing strong, so don't think that you're doomed. So it reminds me this time of the year particularly, it's September 11th coming up in Dallas. After the Twin Towers came down, so there was a bumper sticker going around, whatever it was, some type of advertisement. They had a picture of Statue of Liberty, and they wrote "still standing." Able to take down the Twin Towers, but America is still standing. You could take down the Twin Towers, we didn't take down America. So Atem Nitzavim means that the Eibishter gives the Yidden the koyach that no matter what happens in life, we're still standing, we're able to overcome it. What gives us the ability to overcome it? Obviously, it's the Eibishter's bracha of Atem Nitzavim, and it's the Eibishter's connection with the Jewish people, which goes beyond nature, beyond logic. As we know that Chassidus explains that Atem Nitzavim, the Eibishter is making a covenant with the Jewish people, which is covenant is beyond logic, that the Jewish people's survival is not something that we could understand. But there's certain things that we could work on that help facilitate that we should be able to experience the Atem Nitzavim, the fact that we're standing strong no matter what. First of all, it says Atem Nitzavim Hayom Kulchem, you're standing today, all of you together. So the Medrash says, it ever brings it down, that when you have a twig that's on the ground, or wherever that's laying around, you can just very easily break it in half. What happens if you have a bundle of twigs? It's much, much more difficult to break it apart. So if all the Yidden are together, like we say in the prayers of Rosh Hashana Rabbi, all Jews come together, nothing could break them. So when Kulchem, today we call it, social support, social groups of support, whatever it is, but Bruchnis is definitely in a much deeper way, that when Yidden are together, it gives them the power to overcome everything. That's first of all. The second thing is, the Pasuk says you're standing in front of the Eibishter. So if the Eibishter is, eternal, the Eibishter is greater than everything. So if you're standing in front of the Eibishter, you have the Eibishter's power. Chassidus says that Nitzavim, standing, is like standing as strong, as powerful as a king. Nitzav Melech. A king is able to do whatever he wants. Amar Malka Akar Tura. A king could decide, to uproot a mountain, to make a way for himself. There's nothing that stands in his way. So when the Yidden feel that they're standing in front of the Eibishter and they nullify themselves to the Eibishter, so they get Eved Melech Malach, a servant of a king, gets the power of the king himself. They're able to overcome all things. That's first of all one lesson of Atem Nitzavim, the idea of Achtos, and Chassidus, and the Kotei Torah, and the Sichos, and this parsha speaks a lot about the idea of Achtos, that every single Jew has an advantage that all the other Jewish people only get from him. And the Rebbe explains, when we're standing by Rosh Hashana, and we tell the Eibishter, we want the Eibishter to be king over the world, and we come and we say, I'm here this morning, good morning Eibishter, I'm crowning the Eibishter as king. So then, the question is, who are we? Why should the Eibishter fulfill our requests? But when we unite with all the Jewish people together, so we're touching something which is much deeper than what we are in our own personal life, what we deserve. We're able to tap into the Eibishter's essence. When we connect with another Yid higher than logic, it touches the essence of the Eibishter, which is higher than logic. The Eibishter gives us a good year. This is the importance of Achos before Rosh Hashanah, and the importance of Achos the year round, particularly before Rosh Hashanah. There's another idea that cloud that's generally in life. We know the idea of Atam Nitzav Mayim standing in front of the Eibusher reminds us of that Rebbe writes in Tanya Perek Mem Aleph, Vinei Hashem Nitzav Olav. If a Jew would think about the fact that he's standing in front of the Eibusher is standing in front of him, whichever way you want to put it, then his Avodas Hashem will be on a completely different level. That Rebbe writes in Tanya Perek Mem Beis that every single Jew, he writes interesting expression, I don't think he writes it anywhere else in time, that any Jew, whoever he might be, if he spends time thinking every day about the fact that Eibush is watching him, so his avodah will be the way it should be. Now a lot of times when people hear this, they get very intimidated. Eibush is standing right in front of me, he's watching me, I'm standing right in front of Eibush, that I can't move, I can't breathe, right? Shulchan Aruch speaks about Shirisi Hashem Negdi Summit, the person is standing in front of the king, he obviously behaves in a different way. But the truth is that there's a flip side to this whole thing. If a Jew knows Eibush is standing in front of him, it gives him the greatest simcha, it gives him the greatest thing knowing that Eibush is with him. You know, we have Melech Basad and Chayde Shal, Vinei Hashem Nitzav Olav, the Rebbe speaks in the Sichos, speaking to the children of Sivas Hashem, that the Eibush is with you. So it should give you the greatest feeling of joy, of happiness, that not to be intimidated, you know, Sivas. Obviously has to be love and fear, but the goal is not to be intimidated, to standing in front of the country, standing in front of the Eibusher. So the Eibusher is with you. You have the ability to do whatever you need to do. One thought about Rosh Hashana that comes to my mind. I'll say a story, it might seem unrelated, but I think it's very much connected to the Avodah of Rosh Hashana. My Zayder Rabbi Groner from Melbourne was sent by the Rebbe to Melbourne, Australia, on a permanent basis after he did his Kislev Tavshin Yotes, end of 1958. He came back 2 years later for Tishrei, Tavshin Chaf Aleph, 1960, and the Rebbe told him then that he should go to Eretz Yisrael. He said he's getting letters, people in Melbourne, they have complaints, when my Zayda never visited Eretz Yisrael, they were, very Zionistic place. The Rebbe told him, go to Eretz Yisrael, but don't spend there more than 2 weeks. He didn't tell him to do anything over there, but just to go there. So he was there, so he went. So he thought one of the things he did, he went to Tzfas, and Rabbi Shalom Zirkind, famous chassid, the Baal Mesiras Nefesh, when he was going with him, and he went around the Kvarim, the grave sites of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and in Tzfas you have the Arizal, the Ramak, the Beis Yosef, you know. So this, for my Zayda was the first time he was there, and he was going together to Rabbi Shalom, they were going to these Kvarim. So, Talmudim was by Rashbi. Rabbi Shalom wrote a very long pan. He wrote down all the names of the Chassidim in Russia that if you remember, they were still stuck in Russia. This is 1960. Anyway, so they're going to Tzfas. On my day, the first time in his life, he sees the Arizal, the Ramak, the Beis Yosef, and it's getting very late. The sun already set. It was about to set, and Rabbi Shalom tells him, Yitzchak, Mincha. You have to daven Mincha. So his Eidah says, "Was mincha, ven mincha?" You know, the first time he was going crazy. The Ramak, the Arizal, these great tzaddikim. You know, forget about mincha. So Rabbi Shalom tells him, he says, "Yitzchak, das is Giluyim. Mincha is Atzmus." Says this, to use Chassidic terminology, is Giluyim, is revelations. But davening mincha, you touch the essence of the Eibusher. Mincha is Atzmus. What's the connection to Rosh Hashana? Throughout the year, we try to get inspired with this, with that. Rosh Hashana is Atzmus. Rosh Hashana is doing what Eibusher wants. The Kabbalah says it's not about this idea, that idea, the third idea. It's getting back to basics. Doing what Eibusher wants. Rosh Hashana is Atzmus. We daven Rosh Hashana. What are we davening for? The Rebbe spoke a whole sikha once, Pasha Sekev, Tavshin Yud Gimel. We all want Mashiach. We all want something in life, which if we just interpret a little bit differently, we could rephrase it as Mashiach. You want wealth, you want health, you want nachas, das, yens. What does the Eibusher want in creation? He wants a dira b'tachtenim. So why does he want Mashiach to have a dira b'tachtenim? So the Rebbe says we are supposed to train ourselves that we shouldn't focus on our small picture that we want, what we want in our own life, why we want Mashiach for in our own life, but we should focus on the bigger picture. The Eibusher wants Mashiach. And the Rebbe says it's not possible. I don't remember the Rebbe's exact lashon. He says it's not shaykh to demand from me that he should truly, wholeheartedly not want Mashiach at all for any personal benefit. It's not shaykh. But at least, the Rebbe says there, if you think about it, at least in your head it should be that way. You know, the famous word of the Alter Rebbe that changed the heart. Only Mashiach will change our hearts, give us a new heart. But in our mind, we should have, that's what Chassidus gave us the ability to bring godliness in our minds. At least think that way. So you open up the Siddur on Rosh Hashana, you're davening, that the whole world should know about the Eibishter, right? So we have small giluyim that we want. We want this, we want health, wealth, but we have to focus on the bigger picture. The Eibishter's eventual goal should be Dir B'Tachtonim. Das is Atzmus. That's what it boils down to. So when it comes to Rosh Hashanah, you know, it's a time that, you know, we focus. It's not about, you know, it's not another idea, another inspiration. It's focusing on the core. Atem Mitzvah Mifnei Hashem Lekechem is standing in front of the Eibishter. It's doing what. Fulfilling the kavanah of the Eibishter. Obviously, in order to have one, when you have a Dir B'Tachtonim, everything will be good also for us, for every single Jew. And we also daven for that in Rosh Hashanah. But we should, when it comes to Rosh Hashanah, we should focus on the bigger picture. Focusing on serving the Eibishter, because that's the ultimate. This is the etzem. That's the essence of who we are and what we really want and what the Eibishter wants. And we should have a ksira chasim l'teva good kuben shtiar. And we should have all good, begashmis, beruchnis, Mashiach now.